YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. Look at this. The Axial SCX10. Super cool. Can't wait to get this out. This is a crawler, of course, 4-wheel drive. As you can see, we are running ours on 4000 3S, okay? We had to run a soft pack because our 2S soft pack was the only other option. So here we go, guys. We're gonna drive it. We got some fresh snow today. Driving it with that 4-wheel drive. It's basically unstoppable, which is amazing. But as you can see, this is some heavy, wet snow. Look at the tracks.
That's so cool.
I know, it's so fun. Okay, so I cleared this stuff a few hours ago before we filmed another video that you guys will be seeing anytime soon. And as you can see, this thing just rips through it. That is probably 5 inches of snow, and it's getting through just fine. You can go slow. This is a crawler after all. And on through, oh, did you see that little wheel that got made on there? That was so cool. So there's very good discrete controls. You can drive right up next to stuff and you feel totally in control. Or you can get into it hard and just really rip it up. But that being said, this is a crawler and that's what it does best. But it's really fun, even in the wet snow, because you do have a waterproof or water resistant. I like to call them water resistant. Yeah, see, look at that. We're stuck, guys. We managed to get it stuck already. We are off-road here, by the way, full disclosure. And that thing is in it deep. Look at this, guys. That is
And it is
deep.
Slick, heavy snow.
This is, oh man, look how much snow's inside of it already. That is so cool. Okay, so here goes nothing. We're just gonna take it for a little nature walk. And when I say nature walk, I mean, we're gonna track the heck out of this driveway. I hate it when people track my driveway before I have a chance to clear the snow. Anybody who drives in the country, ooh, what did we get, some snow built up in there?
I think so.
Looks like we did. There we go. So even with this snow alone, we are just really struggling because this is a legit snow. If you drive through four feet of snow with your truck, then that's kind of like what we're doing. Look at the little snow dog shoot. That's so cool. Oh, I gotta love it, guys. I'm trying to turn so it'll shoot it from the other side too. Good control. Oh, look at that. Look at the front wheel. It's got a huge wheel. So we're gonna go down to our normal test zone. And I'm just showing you guys, this thing does it and it's doing really well. But if you turn around, that's when you seem to get stuck, just like in real life. Let's see if we can get out. Yeah, baby, we got it out. Nice.
Yeah, if you're driving around with snow up to the underside of your truck,
you're probably not gonna, you're gonna, look at how it's clumping up the snow. That is so funny. Oh my goodness. Okay, again, got stuck, but we got unstuck. That's the way we do it with Axial. So much fun, folks. And look, as you can see, the huge county taxes we pay have cleared nothing. So fortunately for us, we are gonna off-road with this thing right here and right now. Here goes nothing. Oh yeah, we don't mess around. We just drive straight into the ditch. Because that's what we do on Brian Phillips RC. We go straight for the mud hole. Oh yeah, baby, look at that. Oh yeah, we are totally hitting the sides. Amazing, I'm gonna make a huge mess here. This is just what you can do with an Axial truck. You just go straight for the ditch. You don't even mess around, folks. Oh no, that might be a little bit too deep. How deep are we?
The bottom is in the mud.
Okay, so I gotta try to slide down the hill. You may wanna film this in case I fall.
Okay,
it'll be good fun.
I was gonna not film it in case you fall.
Oh man, some jerk made a huge mess of our ditch. Wait, that was me. Never mind. Holy cow. Geez. That is so juicy down there. Oh my goodness. Oh, gross. Goodness gracious. Yeah, there it is, folks.
That is hilarious.
So if you guys are looking for a super fun crawler, this is totally basher type weather and basher type environment. And by the way, everything turns to snowballs now. But all I gotta say is this thing does it. It just comes out and it's like, you know what, whatever. I don't care if the county's been out to clear. I'll just drive no matter what. Look at, what are you doing walking back?
I don't want to fall down the hill.
Look. That thing is just clogged, folks.
That'll look
So there you go.
in my kitchen sink in a few minutes.
Yes, that's the way we do it, guys. If we've never mentioned it before, we put them in the kitchen sink. We get them all cleaned up. It just takes a few minutes, and then you can let the kids play with them. Ah, get out of my way. I have to get to the quick start so I can get some gas for my electric vehicle.
Bring home a pizza.
Man, it's too bad the real EVs don't work this good. That'd be convenient. Oh man, look at that front wheel. It keeps building up. That is so fun. So guys, real slow crawl. Let's just see how slow we can go down the hill. Oh, that is so cool. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. We got stuck. Hand of God coming in again, as you can see. Amazing, folks. I mean, this is definitely a challenging maiden run. Our first run technically was inside after we set up the radio, which took about 10 seconds. And so if you guys want to see the unbox and whatever sort of setup we had involved, you can stay tuned. We'll post it right after this. It's going to be part of the same video, so you don't even have to click away from it. And if you guys want to buy one of these things and enjoy a really fun rip in the snow, then you know where to find it. It's down in the video description. All you have to do is click, follow the link, and you'll help support Brian and Phillips RC and our family of 6, which is exactly super fun to do. Oh, get out of there. Get out of the ditch.
The next person that drives down our 1-lane road is going to wonder what happened here.
Yeah, yeah, they totally are. They'd be like, who died in the ditch
what
there?
happened?
Oh, come on, come on. There it is. Oh, oh, right into the ditch. Oh, come on, mud. Oh, what are you doing, Brian? Oh, man, what are you doing? Look at that. Oh, let's get some close-ups. Come on down. You'll be fine. Just come on. Just go quick. Don't be doing it halfway. Just get down here. That's the way you do it. Okay, guys, look at this.
Oh, jeez.
Got a little bit of juice there.
It's a little wet.
You know, it kind of looks like somebody cleaned out the septic tank.
Yeah.
To me.
It does.
But you know what? That's okay. You can do that with an Axial because, yep, look at that. She's bet.
It's just slush.
I know, it's so weird. But, oh crap, that would be mud right there.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna see if I can get this thing out. I normally would straddle the hillside, but the thing is, I don't know if I can straddle this spot because it's a little juicy, as you notice.
I think you're gonna have to.
You think I'm gonna have to?
So.
Well, you sure you don't wanna go get that, cam crew?
I'm really sure. Definitely.
I think I'm gonna put a knee
Do you want me
down.
to hold your transmitter?
No.
Okay.
I'm coming down to get you. I'm gonna save you, Axial. Okay, there you go, guys. So all I gotta say is, if you wanna have a fun March event in Iowa, look no further than Mother Nature to complicate battles.
Welcome to spring.
Welcome to spring. So here we go. Ooh, man, I've really got it bogged down now. I wonder if I like flash freeze
You are
all the
caked
stuff.
in there. No, that's just.
There it is. All right, let's go up here and get this stuff knocked off again. There it is. Happy as can be. So folks, the Axial SCX10, and what's that other word?
Base camp.
Base camp. If you guys want something fun that's capable, that'll get you around in the thick snow, look no further than the SCX10. And it looks so cool going down the hills.
Just imagine how good it's going to do down here when it's dry.
Oh, I know, it's gonna be amazing. And I'm super excited to get it out into a rock crawling environment because really this is a crawler after all.
Yeah.
It's not even a basher. Not really even designed to do this stuff. But honestly, on 3S, it seems to have enough speed to really fill that role. And look how much it tore up the ditch. That is fun, guys. So what I wanna do is we're gonna pause, we're gonna crawl out so we don't both fall and die, and then we'll show you a little bit more on-road before we call it quits. Okay, so we made it out of the ditch, and so did the Axial. And so we're gonna finish this thing off strong, with just a drive back home. As you can see, you take no straight paths when you're 4-wheel off-road driving like a crazy person. And I gotta say, this thing has been a blast. It's not the fastest car we've ever seen, and it's probably not gonna be the best at driving through mud. But I gotta say, it's been really fun. And the thing is, I only have to carry the higher speed because of the thick snow. I think ordinarily this truck would do just fine going real slow. And on 2S, you do lose a little bit of speed, but it's not gonna break any world record speeds, okay guys? This thing is definitely a crawler. And so to take a basher out and throw it into the snow like this. That's usually what people do. But if you can also run it fast and have a good time, then this is definitely a cool car. But you can see just how bad the snow is. This is the kind it's gonna be hard to plow when it's only 4 or 5 inches deep. So for those of you that are curious about this thing and you wanna buy one for yourself, or you might wanna buy one for your wife or your kids or whoever, somebody in your life, then check the link in the video description below. This thing comes fully ready to run, except for the battery, correct? Mm-hmm. That's the only thing you have to provide.
Battery for the car.
For the car.
With the double A's for the transmitter and everything.
That's right. So they call it like a ready to run, sort of. So if you guys want to buy the exact battery we used, we'll link to it. We'll link to the hard packs. You can do 5,000 2S. It'll fit perfectly in a hard pack, hard case. And then you can do a 4,000 3S Gen 1 if you want to do exactly like us. And we do have a little voltage alarm taped in there. But look how much that thing is taken. That is pretty incredible. I'm disappointed that we're hitting that edge of the cover there. But you could adjust the springs on that front suspension just to try to avoid that. But just in looking at how speedy it is, I'm surprised how well it's done, to be honest. And I think that this thing would be even more impressive when you get it up on rocks because it just has some grippy tires, which is probably counterintuitive in this application when it's really thick snow, because what it's doing is just picking up, building big snowballs, and then sticking them up inside of the body. It's turning into a bit of a snow plow. But what a joy. Cool. What a blast to drive and run. I always try to say fly. But this thing is super fun. Look at all the little tracks that shot up into the back. That is so funny. So guys, really fun before and after, as you can see. Camera crew, if you wouldn't mind. That thing is stuffed. It is literally stuffed inside and out now. Yep. With snow, and it is gonna be a fun thing to clean. But really all we do is we take and we put the sink, we clear out, we have a double base sink. We run warm water, rinse it off from above, take off the top, check how things are, rinse the tires, and then we just kind of give it a quick rinse on the middle and make sure we get it dry so that you don't have any rusting. But if you can't get it totally dry, take it off of your beautiful kitchen towel, put it on a throwaway towel, hit it with some WD-40 or something, just keep things from rusting. But otherwise you're gonna be golden because this thing is mostly polymer and then metal where it matters, which is good. Very cool car, very cool truck. I realize we haven't showed this in its full true colors, but it will be seen again, almost certainly. We'll try to get some crawling when we have more perfect conditions for crawling, because we do kind of need a little bit of dryness to be able to get traction and stuff. You don't want to just mud bog all the time, because mud bogging is fun to watch, admittedly. It's definitely not going to show what these beautiful tires can do. And just look at how soft, look how all that stuff just comes right out. Amazing, right? Wish my shoes were like that.
Yeah,
you can clean all the mud out of them really easy. But what a beautiful truck from Axial, guys. SCX10. Check it out, 1/10 scale. Got the links down in the video description below. Stay tuned, we'll unbox it next. Thanks for watching. Okay guys, so this is what we literally do to clean up our vehicles. It's not rocket science or anything, and I'm sure you guys have already figured out how to do it yourself. But all we do is we literally take it inside, we stick it in our sink, we run warm water, we rinse our hands. When you get a good quality one, it doesn't take hardly any effort to clean them. And as you can see, we're getting a lot closer. You just gotta watch out for getting big chunks of metal, or not metal, but mud and stuff down your sink. Some sinks are gonna be a little bit more upset by that than others. And you can see this thing is really well designed, because look, everything, it just gets rinsed off and you're ready to go, pretty much. And then we just hit it like this, try to avoid the electronics by keeping it all intact if you can. And then once you get it to this stage, I usually rinse the sink out, get that stuff to go down the middle of the drain. As you can see, it's down. Now we can shut the water off. And then I wanted to show you guys something earlier. Will you go show them the mirror so they can see our little apparatus for the filming? Yeah. I'm just pulling clips out right now, guys.
This is how it looks when we have to film outside. This is my little snow catch, see? It's covered with snow.
So that's the camera crew.
That's the way we keep it
As
clean.
usual, is always trying to get the awesome shot. I definitely splashed some water out of the sink.
You
But you
did.
take your 4 clips out, and then you're pretty much golden. See, I got a little bit of stuff there I just missed. So no big deal. A little bit of stuff right there. So we can just rinse that off real quick. Just mud. And we like to keep our cars and trucks pretty clean because the kids will play with them inside. And we just rinse it out like that. And you're probably cringing to yourself thinking all your electronics are down there, Brian. What are you doing? Well, I'm just doing what we always do because we want to show you the no BS truth. Look at this, guys. Look at all that. That is terrible. There's tons of stuff in there. And then yes, we have water dripping from our camera too, which here, I'm gonna just slide that off if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
See, it's just like this, guys. That came from work. So I'm just gonna rinse this. I'm gonna try to avoid getting straight into the brushless motor, or the brushed motor, I should say. But it is a semi-water resistant. See, then that thing's ready to rock and roll. And then we just come in here and just do a quick detail. Hit the areas that matter. That's a second battery holder there for a short battery. And this will help prolong the life of your car. If you're really concerned about water and electricity and all that, and you think you're gonna hit something that shouldn't be getting wet, then just don't do it. You don't have to do this. You can just let it melt. But the thing I like the best about doing it this way is then you can run the car forward and backward a little bit. Try not to go too crazy. And that almost always knocks out a little bit more stuff. And then if you guys are in a saltwater environment, which this is mentioned in the manual, you're supposed to put the receiver into a plastic bag. See that ESC and the motor? Now that we've rinsed real briefly, now we want to just kind of shake off any of the extra debris, hit the bumper. The bumper likes to collect a lot of debris on this and some other cars. And then as you can see, we're like 90% of the way there to where it's just about perfect. Now that snow did help. Run the blender, disposal rather. Now I'm gonna go ahead and unplug my battery, which you'll notice I did leave it plugged in. The reason I leave it plugged in is because if it's plugged in, then you're gonna keep those terminals from getting super wet, okay? So the only thing that really you wanna keep from getting super wet would be, of course, the battery. I taped a voltage alarm onto the side just to make sure. We were at 3.9 volts. That's pretty dang good. So we had a long ways to go. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold it by the lead. And I'm just gonna go warm water, rinse downhill, keep it from going inside, rinse the fingers. Now I'm gonna take and just protect the tip, rinse it again, protect the tip, keep it uphill. And then we got a little bit here, so I'm just gonna cover up with my finger, rinse it, and we're done. Get it dried off as quick as you can. Make sure you don't short circuit it with the water. Dry it off as quick as you can. And your battery is ready to air dry, and then it's ready to charge, and you should be golden. That's what we use, folks. And then all I do now that I've got that all out, we can do this. Keep your lead down so that it can drain, and just give this a quick rinse. Yes, you do have some components that you want to try to avoid, but I have not had a problem with any of the higher quality stuff. This is legitimately how we do it. Now, I'm not saying you should always do this, and you may not always get in it quite as hard as we did today. But the thing is, I'd rather have it clean, then shake it off, drip it off, and then your kids can go to town on it without destroying it. Give it a quick air dry. Get the water out of the receiver if you got any in there. That's the only place you want to kind of avoid. And I know I got a little bit of water in there, but we're gonna let this thing dry and air dry and then just be golden, okay? We usually set them on top of a towel and they air dry just fine. But as you can see now, your sink's gonna take just a minute or two to get cleaned out. All you have to do is just rinse that little bit of sand and debris. And it depends, of course, on where you drive. But there you have it, guys. If you're parents, you're probably gonna be doing this because you're not gonna let the kids screw it up, and that's okay. Or make them do it. But all I gotta say is, what a cool experience, really fun, no breakage on here, although we did catch a little bit on this, and I feel like we missed just a little bit right here. Mostly just wet today. So if it was dry mud, it'd be way worse experience to do that. So we've also found ourselves taking and running water in the bottom, and then we'll actually just run the truck in the muck, rinse it off that way, and it works pretty good. So hopefully that 2 seconds exercise will help save you a little bit of trouble, or if you're trying to build some permissions from your significant other, then you can show them how easy it was to clean that thing up. And then of course, now that this is powered down, you can press this button. It's kind of hard to make it, and make sure your lights are off, and then you can go in here and just dry it with pressure and a little bit of air drying, and this thing will be ready to rock and roll. So don't be afraid to take them out and use them where you're actually wanting to use them, because it's so much more fun to drive in snow once in a while. I mean, I don't want to always drive in snow, don't get me wrong, but it is fun, and you definitely should try it at least once. So Axial, good job on this truck. It's super cool. The SCX10, it's a 1/10 scale. Obviously you can get it in the gray or you can get it in blue. We got ours in green, as you can see. So very cool, definitely different looking. It looks like this one's more of a matte finish, but I like it really well, and I think you guys will too if you like crawling. Just keep in mind also, this truck, showing it out in the snow like that, we understand that's probably not its primary use, and we get that because it's not a smasher or basher, it's just a crawler. But the thing is, look how good it does that. And you got really good precision controls, and you've got a throttle switch that you can cut this thing down to go to 50% if you want. So that's gonna give you that really high precision, slow control. And also it's gonna be really good if you have kids driving it. I'd highly encourage you to put you on 2S if you're gonna have kids driving it. But if you're going through snow like this, you want power because you need to keep that wheel speed up or you're gonna get stuck. So Unbox is next. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. YouTube. We've got a box. It's huge and heavy. So I don't think it's an airplane. I apologize in advance. Here goes nothing, guys. You've already seen it driving, but we're just seeing it for the first time and super excited. From Axial. Oh boy, here we go. Okay, here it is. Let's flip it out of the box. As you guys can see, I don't know if you can tell from the weather, it is terrible. So this should be a perfect fit for today. Nice spring day. Oh my goodness, that looks so sweet.
Cool.
This is from Horizon Axial. And what is this thing called anyway?
It's the SCX10.
Oh, the SCX10. That's right. Yep. The SCX10. So yes, this thing is gonna be sweet. Here, we'll just show some of the features on the back here. Looks like we've got 4-wheel drive, right? And this one, there's your motor. So it's a 35T 540 brushed motor. And what else do we have? We have 4-wheel drive, right? Yeah, there's a differential up here. Comes with the transmitter, Spectrum 40-watt waterproof brushed ESC, and an SR315 receiver. So excited. Oh, and then it does come in other colors. There's a green and then a blue and then a gray. So we kind of like the gray our best. So we did that.
No, I think we did green.
Did we do green?
I think so.
Okay. Oh shoot, I thought the box said gray, but there's also green on here. So I don't know, they must use the same box for all of them. And there's 3 pieces of tape. So we're gonna get this thing opened right now. This is a 1/10 scale, which is super nice because 1/10 means it's gonna be big and strong and super fun. And I can't wait to get this thing out. And it's gonna be really fun to drive in the snow if we can.
Hopefully.
Okay. Oh, I did it upside down, guys. Upside down. I'm gonna slide it back in. There we go. Kind of seems like it's packaged backward.
Oh, it does a little bit, like one in the box backwards.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put this in the background so you guys can take a look at it if you have questions. And we are excited to be bringing you this, guys. We don't do as much surface stuff here on Brian Phillips RC, but just so you know, I was doing surface stuff way before we were doing air stuff. And so it's very exciting for me. Ooh, I always like it when they start off with a nice pair. Why are these like stuck on there? Oh, whoa, they are.
Oh.
That is the weirdest packaging I've ever seen yet.
Interesting.
So they must be able to reduce packaging. Nice squishy pair. Maybe they could use those in some aircraft
Airplane
tires.
tires.
I don't know.
I'm sure we'll keep those and find a use for them.
We will definitely keep those
Not.
for a long time. Okay, so I'm gonna cut that.
Ooh.
I'm gonna cut that with actual zip tie cutters.
Good idea.
So folks, we did fly a video earlier and it was amazing, but it was so dang wet, the snow is.
Oh, it's kind of terrible.
It was kind of terrible. So we are excited to be doing this.
To do it again.
Exactly. Ooh, that's a nicer transmitter than what we're used to seeing. Okay, so
Squishy?
pistol grip style, yeah, squishy.
Okay.
And then we have steering, trim, throttle, trim, and then the rates for steering. And And there's A and B, rocker up, rocker down. And then there's 50, 75, 100 throttle limit. So if you have kids, you can put it down to 50%.
Oh, I like that.
That'd be good for our smallest one. Throttle reverse, steering reverse, and then a power push button, okay? So you have to reach in there with a fingernail or something to hit it. And there's a lanyard attachment point here. And uses 4 AA's. Obviously, it's gonna be proportional controls. We'll go over that in a little bit. And there's some sort of an insert in here.
Just a warning.
If your vehicle will be exposed to salt water, it's recommended to enclose the receiver in a balloon or plastic bag to prevent corrosion and operational issues. Okay, so like they said, if you're gonna expose anything to salt water, just plan on destroying it. That'd be the easier way.
Because we don't have that
So
here.
don't do that. Well, salty water we do. Okay, so we have protective covers here just to keep that nice and perfect, which is amazing.
Cool.
That looks really nice. It looks a lot nicer here in person than it did on the box, I think. Let's see, anything under there?
Nope.
How is that held in there? It's zip tied on, so I'm not sure. I probably should have left that plastic on there, because then we can unpack this and go ahead and get this out. Okay, so we got batteries, so we'll put that over there for now. And then how the heck are you supposed to get to the zip ties? Is there a trick? I don't know.
Just cut it here in the middle.
There's, yeah, you can cut those ones. But the back ones are way back there.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm gonna cut this. Just side cutters. You can use scissors if you don't have side cutters. And then maybe we can rip it off. You could rip it off too. That would be fine. Yeah, that'd be fine, but it's probably better if you can cut them. It's just that I can't quite get my tool to it to cut. They're actually really nice zip ties too. Okay, so let's pull this off. There's some other stuff inside, and let's see how that, oh yeah, we got good suspension on this one. Awesome. Guys, if you have a nice suspension on a car like this, it makes a big difference. Okay, so then this is empty. Okay, so just cardboard on cardboard, really nice manual, color printed, that's unusual. Even for the American stuff, we don't oftentimes get color manuals. You might get one color. Here, I'll open it. Okay, so let's see what's in here. All right, so this is gonna show you all about the car. Oh, it's really nice, actually. Let's take a seat and look at it, because who wants to look at the car? We wanna look at the manual. Ready to run, okay. Water resistance electronics that shows the layout. I recommend the 2200 because it's gonna charge 2. And then the requirements are 2 to 3 S standard or shorty lipo backs. And then, or you can use a 5 through 9 cell nickel metal hydride or NiCad battery, as long as it has an IC3 connector or an appropriate adapter. And they're showing recommended tools here. And then this just shows quick outline of what the parts are. If you're not sure what you're dealing with, shows you how to load the batteries, how to charge the batteries here, and then where the dual protocol receiver goes, how things are landed on that. Okay, and then what's this? Adjusting the vehicle battery tray. Okay, we'll get to that in a little bit. And then it shows how to do a range test if you want to do that. And then of course you can look at this if you want to see some tips on keeping the thing working well. That is like a really, really small hand on a giant receiver. I was like, that looks like a charger.
Yeah, it does.
That receiver's only like this big, guys, but the hand is like, is that like an unborn child doing it?
That's the way it's gonna look.
Okay, so there we go. There's your different setups. So that's important if you guys are going between lipo and nickel metal hydride. We'll check that out. So that's just gonna change the way that it brakes when you push your stick forward. All right, now let's look at this beautiful thing. First of all, big squishy tires, really knobby, beautiful. Nice seal here. I think that's glued there. And absolutely detailed and gorgeous. Okay, and then we've got, feels like oil filled, but I'm not 100% certain about this. Yeah, that feels like there might be oil in there. And then the lead is hanging down, which I'm gonna correct that here in a little bit. Definitely have foam backing in there so we don't lose all of our pressure. Everything is feeling very solid. These are metal. These are metal, cam crew. Metal on metal ball joints. So cool. Links. Drive shaft is plastic. And you can see that that telescopes in and out to make up the difference in length as it runs. Same thing here on this, and the U-joints. Plastic housing there. Pretty low piece count though. Okay, so now these things are lifesavers if you have big hands. Makes it a lot easier to take the covers off. And then of course these things are protective. You don't have to keep them on there, but you can if you want. I'm definitely not gonna leave them on there. Okay, so let's pull that off and take a close look. First of all, very basic trim details. Looks really good though. And then on the back side, we've got a white backdrop. So a good pop to it. And then this is a tension. What does this say? The Axial ESC comes pre-programmed with a LiPo cutoff feature set to on when running NiCad or, okay, yeah, consult your manual. Okay. So that's what we were talking about right here on this Spectrum receiver, okay? So if you're using a different type, then what you want to do is you want to, this is the ESC, the electronic speed control. You're going to need to make a change, and that's what we were pointing out right here, okay? All right, so we'll just make it so you can pause that if you want to look at it, if you don't already have the manual. And by the way, if you guys are looking for a manual, you can always click in the video description below, and you can follow the link to where you would buy one of these, and then it's just scroll down a little bit further, and you can see the information. So we'll actually hang on to that. That is really good. Look at that. That's awesome. Even uneven, you see how it always lands on its feet, looks like a cat. I love it. So cool. Big, heavy-duty polymer frame. On most of the stuff is polymer, and then the stuff that really matters is metal. We've got plastic here, so there's lots of flexibility. That's a battery strap point. This is another battery strap point. It looks like you can adjust that. So that'd be the shorty, this would be the longer one. It's nice that it goes left, right, because that'll give you a nice balance point, but it also keeps it inboard a little bit more, so you don't have like a big heavy battery over here causing it to sit funny. So that's great. Big heavy duty servo. Looks like a metal servo, metal body. And I'm trying to see what it is. It is an S614 by Horizon. It's a Spectrum. See that down there? It shows the model number, but it's like a reflective finish, so it's hard to see. There you go, guys. So you can see that metal output linkage. That's so cool. Oh man, that's awesome. Looks like a cast piece. So just love the way that those things sit down like that. And then obviously these can be adjusted up or down, it looks like. And they're down a certain amount right now. So if you were to put different hardware on, there's a set screw there that passes through this. And you can move that down a little bit lower or up. And then you can simulate lifting or lowering your vehicle. And then same thing here. You can undo this. This one only has one position, it looks like. So you'd have to get creative if you were doing something like that. And then of course there's adjustments right here where you can tighten your spring tension or loosen your spring tension and make it more springy or less springy by just simply adjusting that thumb nut. And that's toolless, which is really nice. And it looks like it's gonna track really nice and straight. I love these more scale looking trucks because I tend to prefer scale looking vehicles myself. Okay, so let's put some batteries in real quick. We're getting really close to being done with this setup. It's not a real hard one. So if you look at this, this bag comes inside of this ready to run. So ready to run with Horizon is usually very good. That means it'll come with all the stuff you need. Now I'm not 100% sure, maybe over in Asia or New Zealand or Europe you may not get the double A's, but I know we've always gotten them. Ooh. And something just shot across the way, so we're gonna pause and grab it, and we'll show you what it is. Okay, so this came in the bag along with the batteries, and this is what fell. Just some sort of a bushing spacer. So we're gonna just put that out of the way, and then we'll load our batteries in here. Super easy process. You got the negative side is the flat side, as opposed to the positive side, which has the bump. Okay, so just generally, I don't even look at the label, but you can see on the label it shows. So if you're new to the hobby, you might want to just pay special attention. It's not hard. Those are just standard alkaline AA batteries, but you can get some rechargeables. Just be careful that you don't mix them. And this thing likes to kind of catch a little bit. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. Just slide this back. Okay, there we go. All you got to do is get that lip started. There we go. Snaps right in. Okay, so now there's a button right here. Press the button and you can see it's on. Okay, so everything is on. So now let's talk about batteries. We've got our clips here ready for us. We got the cover and we'll leave that off so we can get the batteries selected. Okay, so this would be kind of like entry level. It's gonna be your lower expensiveness level, but it's still a smart battery. I would not recommend using these batteries because LiPos charge so much faster. The charge sequence on this battery, even with a very nice charger, is gonna be like hours and hours. And you're not gonna get a huge long runtime out of it either. It just takes forever to charge. So this would be the latest and greatest Gen 2 Smart Pack 2000 or 5000 2S. This would be a Gen 1. It's the same exact size. Hard packs, so they're plastic, okay? There's no dimensional difference there. And that's to be considered up against, if you were to go to like a soft pack, here's a 3S 4000. You can see they look a little different. You can kind of see on the ends, you can see where the cells are. They definitely have a different look to them, okay? That'd be an air style battery, like what we use in our airplanes. And we obviously have a ton of different battery sizes. But the thing is, as long as you come equipped with the correct end, this of course being the IC3, it's got the data line here, the main discharge, and then the main discharge negative, positive. And then right here, you've got the Hextronics balance lead. So this is one cell, and then this is the other cell. Polarity is as such, positive, negative, negative, positive, okay? So negative to positive, positive to negative, because it's in series, okay? So this would be exactly the same in terms of electricity as this, okay? It's the same as true as if you were to go up to a 3S. The outside leads on the balance wire are the same. So like here, I'll give you another example. This would be like a smart lead. Forgive the plastic that's on there. This is common to this. And this is common to the farthest over this. And then this makes one cell. This makes the second cell right here. This makes the third cell. This makes the fourth cell, the fifth cell, and then the sixth cell. And I think I might have said that backward. This is the negative most. This is the positive most. Positive and negative, and so on and so forth. But they're in series, and these suckers are just in a row like that. And you can kind of see the lines on the bottom where the cells delineate, because that's a 6S 5000, okay? So lots of different sizes in the airplanes, lots of different sizes in the cars. But if you have a voltage alarm and you want to use a voltage alarm that will beep, then you can use something like this on something like this, okay? So the negative goes over like that and plugs in and it'll just alarm. These things are dirt cheap. You can get them for, you know, $4 or $5. Nothing real terribly special, but they do get damaged if you plug them in backward reverse polarity over time. So just be aware of that. Now, what battery size do they actually recommend for this thing anyway?
I don't know.
Let's find out right now. So if you want to know what size battery they recommend, you can usually find it in this part of the manual, but it just kind of depends.
No, that's battery connector. Yeah, battery type.
So they're suggesting an IC3 connector, 233 cell, LiPo or LiFe, and then 5 through 9 cell in nickel metal hydrate or nickel cadmium, I think is what that is. Did I say that right?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
NiCads.
Yeah. But I don't know what it's made out of.
So in that case, we have 2S right here. And so that's what we're going to start with. We really should be using a 3S for this if it's 3S capable.
Do we have?
I don't know if we have a hard pack in 3S, but let's just see how these fit. Okay, so big heavy duty strap, slides in, slides out. You can take that all the way in and all the way out. I'm gonna put this right here. Oh yeah, that's a perfect fit. Okay, and for those of you that are thinking, oh, can I use two of them in parallel? Yes. Can you use two in series? No. Also, I would not recommend using a Gen 2 and a Gen 1 in parallel because the way that the circuits balance themselves, it's a little bit slower on a Gen 1 than a Gen 2. So if you have to mix and match for a parallel configuration, I mean, you probably would be okay because you should discharge about even, but you might run into some conflicts, so just be aware. Okay, now look at this. See, it's too long. So if you have a real short pack, you can get it in there. Okay, but you can see the big difference in length. Okay, now you could always take those off and just run your strap through. You could just eliminate this here. And if you look underneath, there's just basically, you'll have to take the whole thing off with two screws here and then let the whole thing come up. And then you can take off these end plates or take off one end plate or the other end plate. I probably, honestly, if I wanted to run two batteries, I just generally don't do that. Okay. So now what we can do is, this is the front and that's the back. The way you can tell is just because the bumper is bigger back here and then the bumper up front makes pretty obvious front end. Okay, okay, sweet. And what I want to do is I want to show you, you want to keep this from getting dragged down or thrown into any of the mechanisms. So one trick that usually works kind of nice is I like to make it so that it hits, this strap goes all the way down as much as possible, and then I can usually kind of slip that through like that. It makes a nice little holster for us. Okay, so this generally can't get into the wheels. Okay, and then of course, if you don't have enough room to kind of manipulate things, I'm real picky about the batteries, so you just plug it in. Okay, so everything appears to be bound already, but if you're not sure how to bind, the easiest thing ever in RC is the newest technology for binding, and really all you have to do is just, once you've plugged it in, you press that little button there, okay? And I'm gonna unplug the power. I don't wanna have to rebind, so just listen. You press it, it starts flashing fast. Once it's like that, then you do the bind sequence on here, which actually I don't even know where the bind sequence is on the transmitter. Because this one here is a ready to run. So if you do need to bind, okay, binding is a process, blah, blah, blah. Hold the steering wheel and throttle trigger in the desired failsafe during binding. Press and hold the bind button. Power on the receiver. The orange light will begin to flash, and then set the trims and control positions. Okay, power on the SCX10 transmitter. When the transmitter's orange LED remains lit, it is connected to the receiver. Okay, so it looks like you don't really have to do anything with the transmitter. It just automatically finds it. So now this would be SCX10, and it says it right here, but this is a dual protocol receiver. So it has the other ground protocol, and I'm not privy to those details because I'm usually an air guy. So I know DSMX, that's where my expertise is. And then this is just amazing and super cool. So also I want to point out that they have a ferrite core here and a ferrite core here, and there's quite a little bit of wire. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm also noticing that there is an antenna that comes up and it goes around and then it loops back through, and I'm just kind of like really not super thrilled with the way that that's being handled, because I feel like that last 28 millimeters that's exposed is just going to get whipped around in heavy traffic. So not real excited about it, but it is a ground vehicle. It's a little bit less critical, in my opinion, than an airplane, where if you lose signal, you're going to lose your plane, almost certainly. So let's just live within those boundaries. I'm going to show you one other trick. If you want those battery leads to line up even better, you can sometimes loop it back like this, and you still have plenty of length. But whatever you want to do to kind of control it, kind of liked it better before. So folks, here on Brian Phillips RC, we like to show you the long format, uncut footage so you can see what it really takes to get these things ready to rock and roll. It's not especially hard with cars and trucks, but it's definitely, if it's not your thing or if you're new to the hobby, it might leave you wanting for some detail. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's reverse. That's forward. Okay, so If you ever have one that goes backward, all you have to do is take your throttle reverse. Okay, now I'm gonna pull the trigger and it goes forward. Very good discrete controls, very easy to control it slow. Big old gearbox there on the 4-wheel drive. As you can see, the thing is just really, really tame and easy to control right now. It looks beautiful. And I can't wait to get into some power. Now this thing will run on 3S. Of course, 3S is gonna give you more voltage, which allows for more speed and more, you know, spinning of the motor. But it's gonna not necessarily allow for any longer run times. In fact, I found that the longer the run time usually goes with the smaller battery because you tend to run it a little bit slower. So let's see how this goes together. I love the clean look of this. It's just so basic, and yet it does really good. Like this flat black is such a cool detail. Although I'm cringeworthy, it's gonna be definitely getting scratched up. This high gloss is really beautiful. There's something about certain cars, you know, they just go over the top with details, and sometimes it just makes you wonder, like, do you really expect that to hold up? And I just think they've really struck a nice balance here, because instead of going over the top with a bunch of details that are just gonna immediately, like for instance, one thing that irks me is we get these beautiful mirrors on vehicles and then they break off almost immediately. You roll it once and it's broke off. So not to beat up companies that are giving us cool details, but the reality is, you know, they're not gonna last. That thing looks really eager to please. I do notice it's kind of leaning toward me on this side. Do you see that?
Yep.
As opposed to this side. I wonder if that's just, if I can adjust the tension on the springs to correct that a little bit. I'm gonna try to tighten up the tension on this side. That looks a little bit better. Might soften this side just a little bit by just raising it up a little bit. You gonna show the people what I'm doing here? I'm just twisting this one so it gets closer to the nut at the top, and then I just loosen the other one, and now it's sitting nice and level, which is pretty sweet. Now, that might impact our performance once we get out in the real world, but the thing is, I can't wait to see it. This thing's gonna be eager. I can already tell it's eager. And 4-wheel drive, this will be the first time we've seen an Axial with 4-wheel drive, so that's pretty exciting too. Before we go too far, let's just see what it can do in here real quick. Okay, so I'm giving about 20% throttle, just real slow. That's full speed. Over the feet, no problem there. So now I'm trying to figure out if there's a high-low selector. There is this switch here, and I can't tell what it does. And then there's also 100% and then steering reverse. We've already hit those, and we're definitely in 100% throttle. Let's see what happens at 50. So you can really limit the speed if you've got a kid driving it and you don't want them to destroy your house, or if you're driving outside. Okay, now we're gonna go to the middle speed. Okay, that's 75% throttle, okay? Now there's 100% throttle. Not noticing a huge difference. Definitely eager, it's lifting the wheels off the ground. So that's pretty sweet. It's got a lot of power, I can tell. Let's go out in the living room. Let's see if we can push the ottoman a little bit. Yeah, guys, that's what I'm talking about. That's like real power. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's real power. It's not like super fast, but it's got real power, guys. Look at this. That's pretty incredible. Let's move that chair some more. What are you doing, chair? Get out of my way. Yeah! So as you can see, this thing has got some power and juice. And remember, we're only on 2S. You could go to 3S if you wanted to. That is pretty impressive. I just don't want to hit all the planes. And you don't have to drive it like a crazy person. You can drive it slow if you want. And that's one of the best parts about these things is with the discrete controls. If you guys haven't driven a new car since yesteryear and you're like, hey, I want to do, look at this, guys. I'm going to try to walk up this side of this thing. Isn't that just amazing? See, immediately, wait. I want to try to tip it over. So you drive it. Usually you can tip these things upright if you're careful. Then sometimes you break your bodies when you do it too. We'll just flip it over because we can. So now, the only thing I want to double check is if we have a high-low speed, so we'll pause and check. All All right, guys, so as you can see, this thing is definitely gonna be crawler speed. This is full speed, but it's got so much torque. That thing is crazy. It's very light on its feet for being a big, heavy vehicle, but I think it's gonna do really good outside. I can't wait to see it. And it feels controllable. Like you'll notice I haven't crashed into everything I've looked at so far, which is kind of handy. And you got really good proportional controls. So when you want to do some slow crawling, the other thing is you can set that throttle rate down to 50% if you really want to go slow. And when I say slow, I mean, it does help if you're in the crawling setup, if you want to go even slower so that you can really get into some tight spots. The other thing too is I'm gonna point this truck so you can see in there on that light. That light will go to a flash, I believe, when we get to critically low voltage. Okay, so that's kind of handy if you're out driving and you wanna find out what's going on. But I mean, guys, look at this. I'm about to crawl up the couch. That is amazing. So for those of you that are into crawling, rock crawling and this sort of thing, you've got, look no further than the Axial. This lineup is amazing. And this CX10, right?
SCX10.
SCX10 is amazing. I'm really liking the way that it's put together. There's metal components in certain spots, like right here, because that's a critical spot. But then they use the heavy duty polymer in other spots. But I love the way it looks. The tires are absolutely phenomenal. The look and fit and finish is really good. And it just feels right. Also, it's heavy, okay? So heavy vehicles, when it comes to crawling, are definitely tend to do better. But also, I would have liked to see a few lights up here. I'm sure you can get some lights for them and stick them into those pockets there. And there's already a holder that's right there that you can see, okay? See that? So that'll just hold that lamp right in there for you. And really, really cool, nice truck. So definitely check it out. Guys, and if you want to see more from Axial, just stay tuned with us. The SCX10 is just one of many that they carry, and we love to bring you guys the latest and greatest, but we also love to get it out and drive it in terrible weather for you, which is what we're gonna be doing next, although you guys already saw it at the beginning of this video. So if you wanna help support us for putting together footage like this, just buy these things from the links if you like them. And if you don't like this particular item, but you do like something we've reviewed in the past, just check out the links in those videos and you can get one for your very own, or if you want to get one as a gift or whatever it is. Also remember, when you follow our links, we get small commissions from the brands, manufacturers, distributors, whoever it is we're working with at the time, and that's how we fund our channel. So you'll be helping to support Brian Phillips RC and of course the family that's behind that, which includes the camera crew, my wife of many years, Megan, and then our kids, our 4 kids. And so yes, they definitely do love this aspect of our channel, especially because they love driving the cars. Probably even more than I do, but the thing is I love it, which is super fun. And obviously, like our littlest kids that aren't quite to the age where flying is, you know, within their skill set, the cars are a great alternative. And plus they work really nice when you got terrible weather in March and you're just dying to get out and fly. You can do this and it'll help appease the pain and suffering that comes with no RC. But also, these things, when you do crawling, you can do that inside. It doesn't have to be an outdoor sport, but I still tend to think that it's better. It's just like supporting us on Patreon is a cool way to help support us. We think the better way is to just buy one of these cars, trucks, RC transmitters, RC receivers, batteries, whatever it happens to be, and support us that way rather than just sending money. You can send money if you want, and if you insist on it. We finally have a Patreon channel. We have about 38 supporters right now, and we really appreciate you guys. And people are coming and going all the time. There's people that add and people that have to get out for whatever reason, and that's fine, we get it. But if you just like one-time gifts, we also have that through PayPal. But just remember, we are friends and family here on this channel. That's all I'm gonna say. Otherwise it gets really expensive in fees. So that being said, if you want your money to stretch as far as possible, and really we still think, and always stress this, the best way to support us financially is to just buy the stuff you love. Because then the people that work with us win, we win, and you win. Everybody wins. If you guys send us a few bucks, of course it's a win-win for you and us, but then that kind of cuts them out. And really, we want to make sure that it's a sweet deal for everybody that touches this channel. And we try very hard to make that a good deal for everybody. And so that means when we have a hobby shop that takes on the burden of sending some items for review, we want to make sure you point that direction so we can return the favor. And that is, of course, if you like the item. We never want you guys to buy anything you don't like, but this Axial leaves very little to be desired unless, of course, you want a fast vehicle. This is, of course, going to be a crawler. And so part of the reason why you watch a video on Brian Phillips RC is that we aren't going to paint the picture of a vehicle that's going to do everything and be an end-all cure-all for all applications. This might not be the application for you because it's slow and it's a crawler. It's designed to crawl up hills and stuff like that. It is not going to be a speedster. You're not going to be racing around the track and you know, winning any lap times, okay, because it's slow. But the thing is, that's what you want for high torque applications. And that's the same thing we do with the airplanes, is we try to show you what they really are instead of just like what the marketing managers at Horizon Hobby want you to see. I mean, we're gonna, of course, talk about those things because they'll come up. But the thing is, at the end of the day, we want to show you that the Carbon Z Cub is, or Carbon Z, could you say it for me?
CZ T28, Carbon
Thank you.
Z.
I can never say, I
T28.
keep saying the
You
Carbon
said
Z
Carbon
Cub like a
Cub
million
for so
times. So if we want to point out the fact that like that plane is amazing and it's not just all hype. And that's what we do here on Brian Phillips RC. But if it was all hype, you'd be able to tell because I fake it bad. And that's one of the things we love about doing these cars, is that there's so many different cars out there right now, and there are actually a lot of really good ones. So the thing is, if you guys are looking and you've got a limited budget and you can't have 1,400 vehicles in your house like crazy people do, like us, then you may have to choose between this and 7 other great choices. My answer is usually both or all. But, you know, like most people aren't going to have all of the Carbon Z lineup, although I really think you should have to have them, you know, just because it's so dang fun. So obviously we have a vested interest in seeing you guys get into the hobby and get hooked just like we are, really deep and for life. But at the same time, we know that some of you are married and you don't have
Would
wives
like to stay that way.
that are not quite as understanding as mine and don't involve themselves in our video on our channels. So if you're like that and you have one of those wives that doesn't let you put hundreds of items in the living room and kitchen like a normal person that's married to a woman, you know, or a woman that's married to a man that doesn't like having hundreds of things in their kitchen, then I understand. But that's what Patreon's for, I guess. Anyway, so guys, we hope you enjoyed the videos. We love doing this for you. Axial SCX10, very cool. I am new to Axial, so forgive me for not knowing model numbers off the top of my head. I feel a little bit embarrassed when that happens, but the truth is I've known about the Carbon Z T28 for years and I still can't get that right, if that makes you feel any better. Hopefully that's not why you're here, because I announce the correct model number all the time, because you'll be super disappointed. But if you like something else that we did on this channel and you want to help support us, don't forget to smash the like button, click the bell for notifications, and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, the super thanks are a great way to help us. If you don't want to make a big commitment, it's just super small amounts or big amounts, depends on how you want to do it.
Whatever you want to do.
You get super thanks once in a while. I think we're up to like 3 of them that I've noticed. If there's 4, I apologize.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's not like, you know, I'm going to quit my job over super thanks unless you guys really get super thankful. But that's not what we're about. We'd rather you guys just buy the amazing products that we get our hands on, because that's really where we're going to sink our teeth into, and you're going to say, you know what, he was right about that thing. It does this, but it doesn't do that. It looks this way, it doesn't look that way. It didn't have LEDs, he thought it should have LEDs. I agree. You know, these are the types of things that I think about, because I think about, that's a lot of money, I want LEDs, right? That's a lot of money, I want LEDs. You know, that's a huge plane, I want it to fly amazing. You know, that's a small plane, I expect it to fly kind of crappy, but it's still good enough. So we try to put everything into the context of, you know, having experienced a lot of different types of aircraft, different planes, different cars, things like that, and help you guys to have reasonable expectations too. Some of them are coming straight from China, after all.
And most things we do fit some sort of niche, just depending on what you need.
That's right. So if you guys looked at this video thinking this thing's gonna go 30 miles an hour and fly from one ditch to the next, then you will be really disappointed when you buy it. And that's part of the reason why we do this for you, is so that you can see, what does that thing really do? Is it gonna be super fast? And keep in mind, we're on 2S, not 3S. On 3S, it's gonna be faster, but it's not gonna be like 100 miles an hour instead of 7, okay? That's not what happens when you add an extra, you know, 4.2 volts. So, and by the way, if you don't know that a cell is 4.2 volts at full charge, you're in the right place at Brian Phillips RC. And if you're an 80s flyer that is just getting back, your kids are growing up and you're like, man, I need something to do, I'm going crazy here. You know, I want something to ruin my wife's kitchen with. Well, you're also in the right place. We will help you figure out a way to ruin your wife's kitchen. I promise you that. And if you're the wife listening in the background, that's just a joke. Relax. Maybe you would like flying the airplanes too. Or not. But anyway, guys.
Get her a car at least.
You're at the right place. If he buys a lot of airplanes and you hate them, you'll probably get things too. Just trust me. Thanks for watching, and come back for more. I forgot to mention how good these cars are at doing dishes. Look at this, guys. You won't even, like, how else can you sell a car than to do the dishes with said car? Yes, camera crew, help please. See, look at this. If you can do dishes with your car, then you know you have really found victory. I'm just gonna say it that way, guys.
It's not a selling point for your wife, by the way.
This is totally a selling point. If you can't do dishes with your car, then you got the wrong car and you're gonna be in the doghouse. I'm just saying. Sorry, you thought it was over, but it's never over at Brian Phillips RC, because it's me. Thanks for watching.